So just a little bit about the service learning project itself. The purpose of the project is to interact with a well older person living in the community. Most of you work at the hospital or a long-term care setting or maybe even a clinic at this point in time. Some of you may work in home health where you see patients that are at home, but all of the patients you see at this time and that you work with are most likely patients that are ill or having an event that needs a hospitalization. This project is designed to work with a well elder, and the idea is to assess and interact with this person and then develop a teaching plan that is compatible with something that they are interested in improving in order to keep them healthy and out of the hospital. So the person needs to be at least 65 years of age, cannot be your relative, and hopefully not in a facility of any sort. You need to identify this person fairly early on in the course because you will need to see that person at least 3 times. Once to get their permission to work with them and explain the project. The second time to obtain a health history and do some assessment on them, not head-to-toe physical assessment like what you do every day when you come on shift to see your patients, but rather a health interview and an assessment using some of the tools that you'll be learning about during this course. 2 of them have to be the CATS index and the Lawton instrument, and then the other 2 will be of your choosing based on your physical assessment of the person and your health interview. So you've got some latitude here to work with. Then the paper is a review and summary of your person, their background, health history, health interview, and a brief physical assessment using 4 of those instruments. You need to explain the instruments, including how the scales work, like what's a high number mean, what's a low number mean, etc. And then you develop a teaching plan and go deliver that to your client. And in the paper, you also describe what this teaching plan is. So if you follow this instruction set and follow the rubric, you really can't go wrong. The rubric is like a checklist, and if you hit everything on that rubric, you're not going to miss anything in your paper and you're not going to lose points. So all this is in the content section of D2L. Ask me if you have any questions. This project sort of starts, I would say, begin to identify your client in the 2nd week, have somebody chosen by the 3rd week, then start working with that client because you're going to see them over a period of time. And then don't short yourself at the end of the course or near the end of the course. Don't short yourself time. You need to actually write the paper. I don't want anything longer than 15 pages, and that's not including your title page and such. APA, it just means to do your references and your citations appropriately. It's a personal communication a lot of times with the client, so you only have to say that one time. You don't have to keep citing that. I do expect decent grammar and spelling and punctuation and so forth. But it does not need to be fancy. Just because it's APA formatted doesn't need to be fancy. You don't need to use words that you wouldn't ordinarily use. It just needs to be cogent, and it needs to aptly fit the criteria for the assignment. We will be talking about this further as we go along, and if you have any questions, as always, either ask in the faculty office section online if you think it's a question other people could benefit from hearing the answer, or you can always email me. The paper itself will be due, let's see, the due date is, let's be after spring break, and the due date is right there, Sunday night, April 5th. It needs to be in before 11:59 p.m. or it will be considered late. Points will be taken off for each day late. If you have an extenuating circumstance, please let me know and we can work something out. Again, no discussion the week prior to or the week of when the service learning project paper is due. Please ask me if you have any questions, and I welcome you to class.